Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Online friends, good morning to all of you.
Good morning. We cannot see the audience side. Can we have the audience camera switched on? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now we can see you.
So, I'm Toastmaster Sheen, your Sergeant at Arms, and I welcome you all to the Invictus Toastmasters Club. And this is meeting number 540. Meeting number is?
540.
Let me begin with a beautiful quote by Jim Rohn. Discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goal and success. And that is exactly what Toastmaster is all about. So I will explain the housekeeping rule, mission of Toastmaster, and the core value of Toastmaster. So I will start with core value. So please place your hand like this and repeat after me. Step by step,
Step by step.
in a confident way,
In a confident way,
in a disciplined way,
in a disciplined way,
we learn with confidence,
we learn with confidence,
we grow with excellence,
we grow with excellence,
stand with integrity,
Stand with integrity.
we treat all with respect,
we
All
with
with respect.
we serve with joy.
serve with joy.
These are the core values that light our path, that light the path of Toastmasters. And what is the mission of Toastmaster? The mission of Toastmaster is to provide a positive and supportive environment to its members to develop their communication and leadership skills. And now it is time to listen carefully, learn, remember, and follow the housekeeping rule, because it will run our meeting very smoothly and benevolently. Rule number 1 is, everybody knows, but I will repeat again today. Rule number 1 is, please avoid discussing topic like sex, politics, and religion. Second, that it is a hybrid meeting. So if you are joining online, please add DM, TM, guest, or whatever role you are playing before your name for easy identification. And online friends, please mute your mic if you are not speaking to avoid unnecessary distraction. And next point, we all have one smartphone, maybe two. Please keep it on silent mode. Next point, this is also very important. Please refrain from speaking if someone is here delivering their speech or explaining their role. Last point, if you have any technical problem, please feel free to contact our tech master or host of the meeting. And now it is time to welcome our brilliant presiding officer. Our presiding officer is a person who wears many hats with grace. She is, by the daytime, she is a medical content manager. By night, she is a passionate research scholar. And she is pursuing her third master's in psychology and second doctorate in business administration. So she proves that time is in our hand. We just need to manage it well, right? So please put your hands together and make a huge sound for her. She is Toastmaster Dr. Sangeeta.
It's always a peer pressure when you say so much about me, because I don't realize it. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to the 540th meeting of our Invictus Toastmasters Club. Let us start with a small exercise. Laksh, please take the seat, because now this exercise would be a little bit different. I want all of you to close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes. Online and in-person people, everyone. Now think you are on the stage of World Championship Toastmasters. Wow, 25,000 people. Now stop that thought here. Rewind yourself a day back. Frantically, you were learning the bits of your speech. Now stop your thought there. Come back to a month before, where you were announced as the finalist. Yay! Now you have to go home and write the speech. Please open your eyes now. Do you know what will happen when you start to write that first word in your speech? What shall I even say? You thought that, right? You could get this feeling, right? Especially people who are preparing their speeches. I faced it a lot. What will I say? Sometimes I have a lot to say. But behold, today this doubt will be clarified and you will all be in the Toastmaster Championship. But before that, before we begin our amazing session, I would want all the new members and guests to be introduced. We have our new member, Namra, here. Toastmaster Namra, welcome. And I would like you to come here on stage, give a brief introduction about yourself and how happy you are joining this club and taking the role of the timer today.
Good morning, all of you. My name is Namra Qureshi. I basically belong from Uttarakhand, Kordwar. And this is my first meeting as a member. When I joined Toastmaster as a guest, I learned a lot from here. I learned that how to face people, how to remove your fear. It's a very great feeling when I joined Toastmaster as a guest. After then, I joined Toastmaster online. Toastmaster Sangeeta is great speaker. I admire her a lot. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Namra. Again, a peer pressure. Greatly. And we have another guest. Please come on stage and introduce yourself. What brought you here? We know you are younger brother of Tanish, but please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Krishna Roila. I'm basically from Delhi and I live here my basically whole life, around 19 years. And my brother told me one day that your English speaking skills are not that great to speak on a high level. So he told me to come as a guest to the Toastmaster and be a good speaker in the future and just enjoy yourself. So I like to thank my elder brother to introducing me to this new field that I have never experienced. So yeah, thank you, Tanishq.
Thank you, younger brother. And thank you, elder brother, to bring your younger brother here. We have guest Bruno here. Please come and introduce yourself. Long, and I know it's your third time, but the introduction will continue.
Every time.
Yes.
Good morning. Myself, Bruno Anthony, and today I've come without my kids. They've all gone for their classes, so I was just getting bored. I had enough time. I thought this is the best place. I just dropped in just to say hi, and I wanted to hear that speech also. I was like, I just said I can't miss it, so that's why I'm here.
We have all in for a treat today. And do we have any online guests today?
Yeah, hi, I'm Neha.
Hi, Neha. Yes.
Yeah, this is my third meeting as a guest. Twice I was there physically. Today I'm joining online. And hello everyone, I'm Neha Sharma. I'm from Delhi. I am a communication associate in civil society organization. I have been working in this sector since 2017. And because I'm working actually I'm working with the executive director of the organization, so sometimes it's difficult for me to communicate with her because she's very she's head of the organization. And I would like to join Toastmaster club to come out from this fear to speak or share my thought with her. Or sometimes when I'm visiting with her in some meeting or conference, I also have to speak. So I really feel hesitate to speak in front of people who are really knowledgeable or coming from very experienced background than me. So yeah, I wanted to build that confidence here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha, for sharing your vulnerability. It takes a lot of courage. And we have Parul, guest Parul. Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Parul here. Actually, I am a Toastmaster, part of the J3 area, TCS BET, and I came to know about this education sessions by BTM Club. So Jose has forwarded the invite, so I thought let me join. And yeah, I got a lot of transformations when I joined. I mean, gradually through the Toastmaster journey, and would be continuing the journey. So I'm looking forward for the education session. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Parul. We have Toastmaster Josh joining with us again. Toastmaster Josh, could you just introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. This is Josh from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and nice to see the members, in a hybrid club, which, gives importance to both in person and the technology savvy people, not savvy, but, one who uses online. So let's have a great session. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now, before waiting any further, I would want to call our guest. But before that, I have to give some introduction, right? I remember, but his accolades are so much. So let's take this. He is just, yes, I forgot. I didn't forget, but yeah, he's a software engineer and an alumnus of Jamia Millia Islamia. And his many accolades are, he served as president in multiple clubs. How? And then he secured first runner-up in the District 124 Humorous Speech Contest in 2024 and a finalist in District 124 Table Topics Contest 2023. But I didn't meet him any of these places here. But this time in the evaluation contest where he was the winner. And thank you, Toastmaster Pulkit, to come here and give us a session on how to craft speech. Please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. I think what's tougher than writing a speech is having this hybrid meeting. Hybrid meetings are extremely tough. So kudos to Invictus for having this setup. Even districts struggle with hybrid contests and stuff. All right, so let's get into the pulp of why we are here. How to craft a speech. So this session, as I understand, will be a two-part session. It will be a speech with evaluation or only
speech, and then you will also evaluate all the speakers. There will be an evaluation round, but you are in addition to it so that we all learn how to evaluate.
Got it. So right now I will just do the
module. The 30 minutes, you will just give speech on how to craft a speech, and then the rest 15 minutes will be on the evaluation.
Towards the section. Thank you, Samrita. So the logistics are clear. So I will give the pulp of this 30 minutes is how to craft a speech. Now, before I even start with some formulaic gyan, I was thinking of last night how to tell a journey which I myself at times find difficult. I've been Toastmaster since 3 years and a very avid competitive speaker. I'm part of multiple clubs, so I compete in multiple contests every year. So I have around 60 plus trophies from Toastmasters because I have lost many more. But the thing is, I compete so much, and 2 of them have been at district, 3 of them, if I give the 41, evaluate to elevate. But let me tell you one thing, that I still struggle initially when I'm thinking of a speech. So whatever I share here today won't be a formula to write instant speeches, but it will help you formulate your speeches eventually. Now, speaking of formulas, let's first get the basics out of the way. Now, a speech in its basic form is what the ballot says as well. It needs to have an introduction, it needs to have a body, it needs to have a conclusion. Like, that's the basic of every speech. The only thing that changes is how to write introduction, what goes in the body, and how the conclusion can be. There's saying in the world that you can say the truth in multiple forms, but the truth stays the same. So I will be giving certain formulas, but the core of it, as you will observe, is the same. The very first formula that I learned from a world champion is the discovery, realization, and application arc. The second will be the experience, resource, and payoff. And the third will be from another world champion called the Genesis tabletop model. But as you will ultimately observe, the three things are the same core, said in different ways. In the discovery, realization, application model is how humans learn essentially. So what's the core? According to you, what's the basic purpose of a speech? Or if I ask you just to describe the core effect a speech should have, what shall it be according to you in one line?
Message to convey.
Absolutely, that's it. A speech should have a message to convey, even if it's a entertaining speech, even the humorous speech, a message should be there. Do you know the difference between humor and comedy? Humor and comedy? Do you think humor and comedy are the same thing? Technically, they are not. Humor is intelligent comedy. That is like satire, parody, sarcasm. These are humor. In fact, do you think the channel or the TV series Office, have you seen that? Office? Do you think it was a comedy serial or humorous serial?
Sarcasm.
The Office TV series of Pankaj Kapoor. If it's a comedy, why? If it's a humor, why?
Humor.
Humor. Why?
Sort of satire. That's what Josh mentioned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Office took something as serious as corruption, which is a serious topic, and they built a satire out of it. So when you are able to laugh at serious things, it educate people, and it also makes them learn effectively. So humor is intelligent comedy, essentially. It should educate, and that's the core of a speech as well. It should educate, inform, and if it entertains, the audience should feel smarter or more intelligent or better at the end. In the discovery, realization, application, which is one of the models we use for speech writing, this model was used by Dhananjay Tarachi in 2014 World Championship. He was the winner. Discovery is when you... Okay, before I even ask this, have there ever been a moment in your life where you have learned something and discarded it? Yaar, theek gyan mat do mujhe. Has happened? And has that learning which you learned previously ever came to bite you? Ki yaar kaash sun leta? That's discovery in life. Discovery when you learn something but you discard it. Ki mujhse nahi hoga. Realization is when you realize, when you are down in your life and you call back to the time when you learned that and you said kaash sun leta. And then often has ever happened to you that once you realize something, it has changed your life, and you have now started doing this daily in your lives. For example, my mom used to tell me that I need to study, and all my time was wasted when I was 19. Today, when I am 29, I just reflect that अगर मैं सुन ले रहा था अच्छे कॉलेज गया होता, अगर मैं अच्छे कॉलेज गया होता, और अब, and this is why today when I do something, it's been more focused because I realized that the time wasted back then won't be coming back. And that's discovery, realization, application. You share one anecdote in your speech where you learned something but discarded it. The second anecdote in your speech should be when you're down in your life and you realize the importance of that message. It's a callback. And then you share the application, that after you realize the importance of that core message, how has your life changed? And this is how you're able to... There are three mechanics at play here. The first is relatability. Any good speech should be a RAM model. it should be relatable, actionable, and memorable. So when you share that you were someone who discovered things and discarded it, you're making it relatable because everyone does that. We often hear great advices in our life and we simply discard it. It's just for that person, it won't happen for us. And then we realize and then we apply. So when you share that you were someone who used to discard important messages, you share your weaknesses. And it's often said in public speaking, if you want to be considered special among your audience, tell them you're similar. Be similar to be special. Because the audience does not resonate with you. They're like, yeah, ye to Wikipedia, he knows everything. So they need to resonate with you. And this is what be similar to be special. So when you say that you discover something and discard it, you become relatable. When you convince them that after you realize the importance of it, your life has changed, you give them an actionable point that please do that as well. So if my message is work is worship, and if I share a story, if I just say work is worship, this is why we often say in Toastmasters, don't preach. As adults, we are not going to accept information. We're going to accept stories. It's the beauty of an adult mind. In fact, even children learn. The reason fairy tales were brought in because children learn better with stories. And as adults, I think the same mechanics are at play. So once you show them your transformation arc, how you discovered something, discarded it, how you realized it, they're able to resonate with you. Yeah, I can resonate with this person being down. And then you share the application that how your life is now you become a CTO of a big company or you're a world champion speaker. You give them a message, you're able to persuade them to listen to you. And as speakers, that's a prerogative. If at the end of a speech, your message is delivered to the audience the way you want it to, that's a good speech. That's it. In fact, President Basketball 2030 World Champion, he has a 5-point checklist after delivering the speech. He asked the audiences, what was my message? He gives papers around. And he asked, what was my message? How did you feel at the end? There are two important. There are three more about that, but the top two is what was my message and how did you feel at the end? If majority of the audiences are able to give a similar answers, your message is work is worship, and the feeling is I feel motivated. If the answers are congruent across a majority, this means the speaker has done his job. What's a bad speech? When your message is work is worship, and you're saying, okay, your message is be healthy. Someone is saying your message is be happy. That's a bad speech because then your teacher. If your message as a teacher does not get across, the speech can be improved. So the first is discovery, realization, application. It's a very powerful speech model to write speeches that resonate. The second model is experience, resource, and payoff. Very similar to DRA. Experience, resource, payoff is you share an experience in your life, then a resource comes in, and that experience you're going to fall down. In any speech, the common arc is the speech should eventually have you falling down. Because if it constantly goes up, people will disconnect. People will be like, "Iske zindagi mein sab kuch acha hi hota hai." They won't listen to you. So in your speech, it has to constantly go down to a point where and I will cover this. It's called the conflict and escalation of conflict. I will convince you today that majority, in fact, all world championship winning speeches have at its core a conflict. They escalate the conflict and they resolve that conflict. But yeah, before we get there, the ERP model is experience, resource, payoff. You share an experience in your life where you constantly fall down to a point where someone comes in and saves you. That's the resource or the guru. And once the guru saves you, there has to be a payoff. That's the experience, resource, payoff. If you think about this, it's very similar to DRA. You're sharing a point where ultimately someone made you realize something, the DR, which is the experience. So in the realization as well, you need a guru, right? So once the guru comes in, you're redeemed. There's a payoff. There are many different ways to say the truth, but the truth at its core will remain the same. So experience, resource, payoff is when you share an experience in life. I can give you an example here. There's a speech by Manoj Vasudevan, 2017 world champion. In his semi-finals winning speech, he has a speech which goes as follows. He hates roller coasters. His children take him to a park. They insist, come daddy to the park. He fears roller coasters. So ultimately he is reluctant to go there, but he boards the roller coaster. And then he sees a lady who's enjoying the roller coaster. While he's afraid, the lady is enjoying the roller coaster. And he is transformed. And he says that that's the way to live life. Not be fearful, but like a lady who is completely enjoying life. So enjoy the ride was the message. And his experience was seeing a lady on a roller coaster, which he absolutely hated. And when he saw that lady, the resource, the guru, he transformed. And that's, he said, I realized the mantra of life is to enjoy the ride. And the payoff is now he's a more confident person. This is the ERP model he has used. In Dhananjay Hitarach's DRA model, a discovery is when someone told him, I see some, have you watched the speech of Dhananjay Hitarachi, I see something in you? Dhananjay Hitarachi, so the 2014 winning speech. Okay, I will cover that later. But the third model is what we call it's from it's Randy Harvey, who go on for world champion. His model is the tabletop model of Genesis threads. Tabletop model is simple. Like I said, remember the core of a speech is to deliver a message. All these models, all these jargons are a way of telling you how to effectively deliver. That's it. The tabletop model says, have a message and have 3 anecdotes to support the message. It might sound simple at a core, but as speakers, we do this mistake left, right, and center. Have you ever heard a speech with a message where you weren't able to determine the message? Where you were confused कि speaker का message है क्या? Is he trying to tell us कि wake up early? Is he trying to tell us be kind to people? This is a message we do left, right, and center. In fact, if you have seen your level 1 project 2 speech, do you know the objective of your level 1 project 2 speech in any pathway?
Giving a speech.
That's it. Vasudevan says that if you understand the importance of this project, which we so casually take, you will perhaps win the world championship. Writing a speech with purpose is the hardest thing to achieve. Because as humans, we are naturally givers. We want to give as many messages as possible to someone in a 7-minute speech. Ye bhi kar lo, wo bhi kar lo, be this, be that. I give my entire learnings to you. But the problem is, in a short speech, if you have multiple messages, none gets delivered. In other words, if you squeeze too much information into your speech, you squeeze your audience out. That's it. So writing a speech with purpose is the hardest thing to do. The tabletop model says, take a message. Focus on a message which you deeply want to give. And then choose 3 anecdotes from your life which support that message to the core. I'll give an example from Randy Harvey's speech only. His speech was Lessons from a Fat Dad. He's the 2004 world champion. An excellent speaker. He has a book on Amazon. 101 public speaking messages delivered. He's a literature, I think, PhD. It's like anything. So he knows things left and center when it comes to literature. So the message in his speech was love. That's it. His speech was about love. And he took 3 anecdotes from his life which supported what is true love. So he took his dad's example, who saved him when he was a kid from dogs. He took his dad's example again when he saved him after he crashed into a neighbor's house. And he said that money can be earned back, but I cannot earn you back. So he taught him that the importance of love is. The third, he shared that dad again, where he shared that how his dad stood by his mom even during her cancer. So he took the dad as the central protagonist, the resource, and he shared 3 instances of how his dad taught him the importance of love only. He did not share 3 anecdotes, but a dad could teach a lot of things, right? A dad could teach discipline. A dad could teach manners. But he told 3 anecdotes where his dad taught him about love because his speech was about love. It's a tabletop. If you think about it, when he won the world championship, he was 60 plus years old. He could have multiple experiences with his dad, but he took his message and just shared 3 supporting anecdotes. This is a tabletop model. The other way to see the same thing is we call Genesis threads. It's like you take a fine thread, that's the core message, and imagine 3 or 4 anecdotes wrapping around that thread. It's like you have a core wrapped by supporting anecdotes. Any way you can visualize it, which helps you. But the idea is your message should be one. In fact, the gold standard of a message is it should be summarizable in 10 words or less. Your entire 7-minute speech, if you ask someone what is the message, that person should be able to tell your message in 10 words or less. If you find people explaining in paragraphs, yeah, I think there's also a gold standard here. If people say, I think it was this, I think it was that, that's again a problem. They should be like, amazing, Shraddha, your message about being worship, it resonated with me. It should be confident rendition of your message. If your audience is doing that, your job is done as a speaker. If they say, I think your message was this, I think your message was that, perhaps your speech needs sharpening. So let's recap. The effective model, or the only thing as a speaker you need to do, is deliver a crisp message which your audiences are able to decode in 10 words or less. How to do that? Few ways. You share, either use a DRA model, discovery, realization, application. You do the ERP model, experience, resource, payoff. Or you do the tabletop model, where you lock onto a message and you share 3 supporting anecdotes. But, so we'll take questions in some time, but once you're able to have that speech spectrum, okay, as an example, let's say you decide to have a speech on your message, as an example could be, value what you have today, else it won't value tomorrow. Let's say one of my speeches had this message: value what you have today, else you won't be able to, or you won't be able to understand the importance of tomorrow. So I shared an experience in my life where I used to text my friends, my girlfriends, when I was a young boy. And my mom came in and told me that, Pulkit, if you don't value studies now, it won't value you in future. And I told mom, I'm too young to understand that. Life is too big. That's discovery. Realization is when I went to a college and ultimately got rejected multiple times, only to think I should have listened to my mom. That's realization. And application is now that I am older, I do try to value what I have. Now, even the realization phase, there could be 4, like say, things could be extremely granular. The entire universe of public speaking is so vast. The more you zoom in, the more layers will come on to effect. In the realization arc as well, there are 4 components. We call it the dissociate, dilemma, decision, and action. I'll just briefly explain that. So how to have a good realization story. So you have a good discovery story. You have a good realization story. Now, before application, there needs to be these 4 components, which I call the dissociate, dilemma, decision, action. what's the time? I mean, I can go deeper if you wish. Do you want to know deeper into realization, or should I just? Do you want to? Okay, so let's take an example again. Again, my example of let's say the studies part, right? Now, discovery is when my mom came in and she told me you need to study, but I rejected her message that I am too young to understand that, or I think life is too big. I don't need to take that advice right now. Realization is when I went to a college and realized that all these years have been wasted, and perhaps I should have listened to her. Now, has it ever happened in your life when you realize something, you're able to apply it immediately? Let's say you realize that I need to be disciplined from tomorrow. Is it super easy for you to start waking up at 5 a.m. tomorrow? In fact, that's right. It will be hard, right? Even when you realize that all of us know that perhaps we need to be super disciplined in life to be extraordinary in life, right? I know that for 10 years now. I faltered then and there. Human beings are works in progress. We are. I was super pumped at 1 month. I woke up at 5 a.m. daily. September, I'm waking up 10 a.m., 9 a.m. again. So human beings are a work in progress. So once you tell audiences you have realized it, and if you tell that now I am waking up at 5 a.m. daily, like that guy must be special. And the moment the audiences think you are special, it's game over for you. Because they will like, someone who was able to inspire us more. This is why we often see YouTube videos of people coming from humble backgrounds to be at the world stage. It inspires us. Let's say if Ananda Mai comes and says, life was very tough. I was only getting 2 Rolls Royces. Perhaps you won't be able to be inspired. You'll be amused. But you won't be able to be inspired. We need similarity to be inspired. So once you share you have realized something, you share the 4 elements of ultimately pressing that realization into application. The first, dissociation. That is, often when you learn something, a few days elapse before you are able to apply it. For example, if you realize today that public speaking is extremely important for the future of AI, perhaps it will take a few days for you to find a Toastmasters club or find something like a Toastmasters club, right? There will be a dissociation. Then there will be a dilemma. Once you find a Toastmaster like Invictus, you'll be like, should I go? Should I not go? Will they like me? Do I even need Toastmaster? Could I even learn from home? There is dilemma, right? And finally, that dilemma will stay on for some days. You're like me, today I will go. Decision. And finally, you come to Invictus. And then application or the reward. So once you come to Invictus, you realize that if I just keep on coming to this Toastmasters Club, there will be a reward for me. And once you do that, you will say that now I'm a good speaker. Speech ends. Audience will be inspired by you to do something. The action is join Toastmasters, wake up early. So you break that realization into 4 granular parts. The idea is that you need to convince the audience that it wasn't easy. It's never easy. There's a process. Again, the same policy that put the process on the pedestal, not the person. Because if you put yourself on the pedestal, they'll be like, it's only good for him. But if you put the process on the pedestal, they'll be like, it worked for him, it worked for me. So put the process on the pedestal, not a person. And this is why when people boast about themselves, it's a red flag in Toastmasters, in public speaking. And good speakers never do that. They will never boast about them. They will always show you the process of what worked for them. And that's the DRA model. It's a very powerful model. But let me tell you, these formulas, be so good at these formulas, you're able to bend it like an artist. If you write a speech conforming this formula 100%, it will be too rigid. You will be like, yeah, it looks formulaic. Take this formulas, the ERP, the DRA, the tabletop, and be so effortlessly good at it that you're able to mold it into your style of speaking. And then, so make it a guideline, not a container. Because rigidness, I have done that. I have given speeches completely containerized. Checkbox honi chahiye. I've lost. The thing is, I was not able to convince myself to give that message in a very energetic fashion. The last section of this is something I call is a winning form life. I come to realize the importance of it a few months since. It's called conflict and escalate the conflict. The crux is, if your speech does not share a problem and a solution to the problem, it's perhaps not a speech. Have you ever listened to a speech and realized कि what's in it for me? कुछ सीखने नहीं मिला. This is where the conflict comes in. Conflict is there needs to be a problem statement which comes into your speech. An example could be you wanted to be a great public speaker, but you realize that perhaps your English is not so good. And you share that conflict at the very start. Once you share a conflict, remember that the hook of a speech is a story. The hook of a story is a conflict. If your speech does not have a problem statement, it won't be able to hook the audience in, because people are able to resonate when you share problems. It's called vulnerability. You are showing that you're similar. So when you share a conflict that I wanted to be, I will give an example of this in one of my speeches. The speech starts with me sitting at a cafe in my company offsite, and I see a bunch of cool guys. There is guy, and I think that I can never be as cool as him because I am a nerd. That's a conflict. This is me thinking to myself, कि काश मैं उससे ज़्यादा cool होता, because I am not that cool. That's conflict. And usually the conflict needs to be shared within the first 1 minute of your speech, because you want to hook the audience from straight away. The moment you share the conflict, they're like, yeah, sounds good. Now, this is a man who is feeling low. The audience onboards onto your speech. And then the conflict needs to be escalated to a point where the audience is left asking ki ab kya hoga. That's called, I'll give you an example. Have you heard of this District 41 winner speech, Sanjiti Acharya? The lady who won District 41 ISC this year? So Sanskriti Acharya is from Nepal. She is the District 41 International Speech Contest winner. She uses that in her speech. As an example, I will tell you why. A conflict comes in when her elder brother tells her that this is power. Going to gym is power. And then a lot of people tell her that education is power, knowledge is power, public speaking is power. So that's a certain thing that happened in life. She's confused. What is power? That's conflict. She's confused. What is power? And then the conflict escalates. At school, she sees her friend who's crying. When she approaches that friend, she tells her there's a teacher who has molested her. A 10-year-old child who tells her teacher has molested her. That's conflict being escalated. Then she goes to the administration of the school and complains. The teacher comes in, pulls her out of the class, takes her to the room upstairs, and is completely threatening. He's threatening that if you ever open your mouth again, I will expel you, I will do something bad to you. And then that's escalation of conflict. Now the conflict reached a point where there's physical danger to the girl. A decision has to be made now. And then she tells that finally she was able to scream and realize that her voice is power. Speech ends. She realized she is power because she was forced to a point where physical danger was imminent. So either there are two ways. Either she could start crying and submit herself to the teacher, or she has to take a stance. So the conflict has escalated to a point now with the audience like, ab kya hoga? Because the teacher is now pressed against her. She has to take actions. That's escalation of conflict. Most speeches, I will just end with 1-2 minutes. Most speeches have this idea. They bring in a problem statement and they escalate the conflict gradually. It's called there are 3 types of escalations: vocator, conflict escalation, vocator, escalator, elevator. Vocator is very similar. Pehle aap, pehle aap. Have you heard this monologue, there's a problem statement. You go first, but it stays constant. पहले आप. Let's say if this goes on for 30 minutes, we're like, कुछ तो करो यार. पहले आप, खत्म करो. That's the vocator conflict. There's a problem statement, but the level of conflict stays constant. Escalator is, let's say I approach Shraddha and says, Shraddha, I want to give a speech in Invictus, and she says, shut up and go away. That's elevator conflict. Conflict है कि मना किया श्रद्धा ने, क्यों किया इतने जल्दी, why did she give such abrupt answer? And there's the Goldilocks conflict zone called a escalator conflict, where the conflict is introduced in the speech, a problem statement, and it increases gradually to a point where it escalates to a level where audience is left asking, now what? And this is what I would like to leave you with, is if you want to write great speeches, bring in a conflict, escalate to a point where a resolution becomes imminent, and your speeches will be power hooks for the audience. I hope this short session could give you some idea on how to write speeches that hook and is able to be true to its primary purpose, that is to deliver a solid, crisp message. I wish you the best in your speech writing journey. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pulkit. It was indeed a great session. I think so. I don't know whether I have blinked my eyes or not, to be very honest. Do you realize you have blinked your eyes? No. Have you taken any breaths? No. We were all stuck. And this is a great speech. He has introduced so many concepts, and I'm 100% sure everyone has remembered every of the concept, whether it's DRE, whether it's RAM, everything, and the escalation and the Goldilocks zone. There are so many pointers to be noted. I have noted everything, and I'm going to introspect again. And thank you so much. Now, without any further ado, we will call our general evaluator, Toastmaster Deepak. Toastmaster Deepak, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sangeeta. Let's give a big round of applause to our guest speaker and also our host. Well done. What a session. I really enjoyed the session and learned a lot. I will present during my grammarian report, because I'm also the grammarian. I will present the learnings or the key phrases that were used by our guest speaker. Now, today I am the general evaluator, and I will share one thing that I learned recently that I think will be valuable. How many of you know Alexander the Great, or maybe heard of it? I'm sure no one knows him, but Alexander the Great, right? Most of us have heard about him. Okay, I'm sure Toastmaster Maisha, Neha, you have also heard, right? Give a thumbs up. We cannot see you, but Toastmaster. Yeah, so Toastmasters is a wonderful platform which, if Alexander Great was present today, would have really appreciated. But why I say this is because his quote. He said, I am grateful to my father for living and to my teacher for living well. And his teacher was Aristotle. And now we have all our fellow Toastmasters here. I see a teacher in each of one of you to make all of our lives better. And Toastmaster Pulkit has given a fantastic session today to make our speeches as well as our life better. So thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster Pulkit. Now moving to my introduction as role player. So I am the general evaluator. I have a team of auxiliary role players who will help me evaluate the meeting in various aspects. Let's call upon the first role player, auxiliary role player, who is the timer. So the timer is Toastmaster Namra. Can you come up on the stage and introduce your role, Toastmaster Namra?
Toastmaster Deepak. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster and guests. My role as a Toastmaster is to keep time for all the speakers to ensure that everyone speaks within their allotted time slot. This will also help in ensuring that the meeting runs on time. To help me to do this, I have three colors. You just a minute. I have three colored cue cards with me. I will raise a green card when the speaker hits qualifying time. I will raise a yellow card when the speaker hits the target time. I will raise a red card when the speaker has reached the end of their allotted time. For example, 5 to 7 minute speeches, I shall raise a green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card on 6 minutes, and the red card on 7 minutes. Introduction for the table topics. Introduction for the evaluator. Speeches evaluation are for 2 to 3 minutes. I will show the green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, red card at 3 minutes. Thank you so much. This is all from my side.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Namra. And mind you, Toastmaster Namra is playing her this role for the first time. She is a new member, so I really appreciate she take. It's very encouraging to see someone who has recently joined and taking up their role. So well done, Toastmaster Namra. Now moving on to our next role player. So next role player is the R counter, and I can see Toastmaster Shireen is the R counter. Can I invite Toastmaster Shireen for the introduction?
Thank you, Master Deepak. So I am a counter today. So I had epiphany when I read the article of John Miller. He rightly pointed out that we expected to give an uncensored answer to our elders from our childhood days, and we carry those habits till now. That's why we use filler words when we don't get appropriate word to convey our message. So, as a counter, I will listen everyone carefully and note down the fillers. But I request you all speakers, that please show your acumen and use the pause, well-placed pause instead of fillers. So, over to you, Toastmaster Deepak.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shireen, for the wonderful introduction. Counter. Next role player is the grammarian. So I am the grammarian as well. So you can see on my background the word of the day here. It's acumen. So the meaning of this word is the ability to make good judgments and quick, insightful decisions in a particular field. It's like having a sharp instinct or a keen sense for something. Example of the word usage is her business acumen allowed her to identify the market gap and build a successful startup. So some of the synonyms for this word of the day is shrewdness, sharpness, astuteness, insight. I would appreciate if you can use the word of the day, and for all the audience, I would request you to give a thumbs up to the speaker if they use the word of the day. Okay, before I proceed, can I get someone to actually use the word of the day, acumen, as an example? Can someone in the audience raise their hand, and I will just give the control to you for usage of the word. Yeah, Toastmaster Ritesh, go ahead.
That's a very powerful word. So I'm evaluating result today, and it's for her it's very difficult, and she's testing her acumen while icebreaker.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Ritesh. Yeah, well done. Okay, now we have our next role player, which is the listener. And for listener, we have Toastmaster Laksh. Toastmaster Laksh, if you can come and introduce your role quickly, please.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am Toastmaster Laksh, and today I'll be playing the role of a listener. It is rightly said that listening is just as important a part of any conversation as speaking. So today I'll be taking note of various things that get said during the meeting, and will be asking questions at the end. And I'll be also checking your listening acumen today. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Laksh, for the wonderful introduction. And I can see Toastmaster Laksh is one of the very enthusiastic Toastmasters because he joined recently and he's back-to-back taking roles. So well done, Toastmaster Laksh, and keep leading by example, take up roles. Yeah, it will improve your learning significantly. Now coming to the next part, which is the prepared speeches. And for that, I will hand over the stage to the host, Toastmaster Sangeeta. Toastmaster Sangeeta, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak. Well, I am the first speaker, but before I call myself on the stage, I would call my evaluator, Toastmaster Shraddha, who will tell a little bits and tips of my speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. My target speaker is going to speak on her pathway, which is presentation mastery, for 5 to 7 minutes. Timer, please note the time. Her level is level 2 and project 1. And the objective of her speech is to understand presentation mastery without a single slide.
Presentation mastery without a single slide.
Yeah. So since you are the host, I would like you to call myself itself. So let's test your acumen and I wish you the best. Toastmaster Sangeeta, presentation mastery without a single slide. Presentation mastery without a single slide. Toastmaster Sangeeta.
Thanks for all the time. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. Here I come again. Let me ask you one question that is burning in my heart. What was your first thought when you first saw me? Shireen, what was your first thought when you saw me? For the first time?
First time today?
Ever?
Such a wonderful person who joined, who coming to Toastmaster.
Okay, you can share in one word as well. Yeah.
When I saw you for the first time and I saw you speaking on the stage, I noticed that you are an enthusiast speaker.
Thank you. Toastmaster Deepak, what do you think? What was my first impression?
So I will be honest, not cheesy as Toastmaster Shireen. I saw you as a geek person who studies a lot. Okay.
Interesting, which is true. Well, interesting, isn't it? How we build opinions based on appearance, gestures, and tone. We all do that, and it's normal. And for me, I chose this pathway just to tell this. And no, I don't have any PPTs with me today. No, I don't have. Really, I don't have. Why? Because I personally feel presentation mastery is not about just flashy slides and fancy graphics. It is about how we present ourselves to people around us, where we communicate, connect, and how we show up delivering a message that will stay with people long before our speech ends. And due to this, I learned something funny about myself yesterday. While scrolling through the base cam for this project, I learned I have to give a speech on different varieties of communication. For that, I need to find out about my style. I took the test, and you know what results I got? Direct, 6. Analytical, 5. Supportive, 1. Initiative, 0. And I know, I will not deny, it is true. So here, I came to understand whether I can ace all the communication style or not. So I have 4 prompts to see if I can nail each type of communication. Would you read the first prompt?
Deadline tomorrow and your teammate hasn't submitted their pass. What do you think?
Hey, we don't have time today. We have to submit our acumen by 5 p.m. max. And I would want you to submit it as soon as possible. And please don't delay. This was a direct communication. That is my type of communication. And Shraddha knows it very well. I didn't say good morning to her today. My message was like a telegram. Hey, GE role vacant. Stop. Asked Deepak. Stop. Waiting for his response. Stop. After a while, I said, Deepak messaged, yes to GE. Stop. This is how I really messaged. And I would want to nail the second type of communication. Could you read it?
Explain why team improves problem solving in projects.
Analytical one, I would love to try analytical value, communication value to this. One of my types again. Well, team building exercises improves cognitive diversity. And you know what? Research shows there is a 60% improvement in teamwork with efficient solutions. And this is as compared to the individuals. And now I would like to ask the third prompt to Shraddha. Oh, yeah, I got my example. And this is where I got one.
Your best friend is anxious before a big showdown. How do you respond?
Hey, Shraddha, I know you have prepared a lot, and thank you. I will always be there with you, supporting you. I have to ace it, Sangeeta. I have to ace it. Okay, I know you have prepared well, and I really believe in you. And no matter what, I will be cheering for you. Okay? Thank you. And this is how we go with the communication with supporting style. Now let's have the fourth prompt. Lisa, I know you are literally have cold hands right now, but I would really want you to do this.
You met someone new at a networking event. How do you start a chat?
Oh my God, this is initiating. I got 0 here. Hey, hi. Great experience, right? This is why I got 0. Now, let me do something else. Hey, hi, I'm Sangeeta. How are you? It's great to be here. You know, such a great energy. Would you like to meet me after some time so that, we can share some conversation? I think so. I have aced it. And this is the initiating style. With this, I would want to give you 3 feedbacks or 3 key takeaways that I understood after learning about communication values. The first one is awareness. You have to know your dominant style while knowing the dominant style of others. Second, adaptable. You have to be adaptable and shift your voice, body language, and words according to what people understand. And the third is impact. Whether you master one style, when you master other styles as well, your influence not just adds up, but it multiplies. With that, I would hand over the stage to myself and call our next speaker.
Oh, one minute feedback.
Yes.
1 minute feedback. So 1 minute feedback.
Okay, 1 minute feedback. Okay.
So can we have your feedback in the guest group, please, for our speaker? For the wonderful speech Toastmaster Sangeeta has delivered. Can we have those feedback, please?
Sure, could you give me some feedback in the guest room, please? Okay, I guess everyone has given the feedbacks, right? Thank you so much. Okay, people are still giving too long feedbacks from me because I forgot all my speech and this was my improvisation here.
Nobody knows probably.
So let's call our next speaker, but before that, let's call our evaluator, Toastmaster Ritesh. Please come. Yeah, first you will come. And introduce our second speaker.
I'm the evaluator of Rizal, and the purpose of speech is icebreaker. Can anybody tell me the difference between evaluation and opinion?
Opinion is based on our.
Yes. Yes. So evaluation, when we are saying evaluation, in the sense is it is based on the process described by Toastmaster manual. So it's a very courageous effort, I would say, and it's just a checking of the acumen of Rizal. And my urge is that since it's her first speech, just praise her and give her a round of applause with a standing ovation at the end of the speech. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's call Toastmaster Rizal. Please, Toastmaster Rizal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sangeeta. Do I have to mention about my project level?
No.
Hi, my name is Risal. Sorry, what? Come again? Vishal. Misal. This is my situation most of the time. There's hardly anybody who gets my right in one go. But this is the situation, I think, for most of you, whoever has a unique or a not so common name. But a question gets asked to me, what is the meaning of it? Because it sounds pretty interesting and unique. My name means a letter or a message in Arabic. And in other contexts, it can mean religious context, it can mean a message of God or a divine revelation. Sounds interesting. But as you know that there are some perks of having a unique name. You get a unique username ID online. You can start it as a conversation starter, or it's simply hard to forget. But it's a double-edged sword and there are struggles. So struggle is that you are having your name subjected to the risk of being butchered it 101 times by people all around, and you get to hear so many variations of it. I got to hear multiple variations, like be it Russell, Rachel, but I would like to tell you one of my favorites. Goes back to my undergraduate college time during my bachelor's laboratory chemistry laboratory session, and this professor of mine, she calls out the attendance and she reads my name as Rizal. Can you beat that? I know my class had a hysterical laugh after that for obvious reasons because it resembles with Lysol. And I think I can't blame my professor because she has this very strong chemistry acumen. She remembered the chemicals in the lab, which are like ethanol and butanol. Anyway, I don't blame them because now I have content for my icebreaker speech on for my Toastmaster icebreaker speech. Anyway, when I initially came here, I during the introductions, I recall telling you that I like etymology. So anybody would like to talk about etymology, maybe tell in a sentence what etymology is, or if you're unaware, a wild guess. Anyone?
Insects.
Sorry?
Insects.
No, that is entomology.
Oh.
The study of
No.
study of original things.
You're close enough. So etymology means the origin of words. It's the study of origin of words, how words have evolved over the years, and also the history of it. Now, why is this particularly interesting to me? And I find it fascinating because, first of all, it
helps you remember concepts and terms easily better. And also, it two seemingly unrelated things can become turn out to be related. And it also reveals so many layers of culture and history, which is very insightful. Let me give you an example. So all of you have been to the Humayun's tomb. Is there anybody who has not? Please go visit. Okay. So I went there in 2023 with my sister for the first time, and if you might have noticed, outside one of the gates there is this uh, like a tomb site, not a tomb, a dome sort of a thing, which is it's written. I can read and write Arabic, and it was Persian text. So since Arabic is similar to Persian text, it read Sabzi Burj. And I was taken aback and wondering, Sabzi is vegetable and Burj is tower, as in Burj Khalifa. And I was wondering to myself, why on earth would anything be called vegetable tower? And I was very curious, and I went on to Google and then I searched what does sabzi mean in Persian, and turns out it simply means the color green. And that is how I was mind boggled that in general, Hindi, colloquial one, and Hindustani, we incorporate some elements of Persian for obvious reasons, but it is stemming from the fact that, okay, eat your greens kind of context. So I would say that this concept is based on something in linguistics called loan words. We borrow some words from other languages. And yes, and that is why I find this absolutely interesting. And I think we are, at the end of this speech, taking away with increased curiosity. And I hope that we are more inspired to look around things with a different lens. And of course, I have endless stories like these to tell, especially in English and other languages, but that would be a speech and a conversation for another day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Misal. We all will go to not Burj Khalifa, but Sabzi Khalifa. Okay, going to the next speech.
1 minute feedback.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak, for reminding me. Please give her an amazing feedback for her first speech. We all have given our feedback, right? Online members, have you given the feedback? Okay. Now, before we call our third speaker, we will call his evaluator. Toastmaster Tanishq, please tell about your speaker.
So I'm the evaluator of my target speaker, that is Toastmaster Dipanshu, and he is the third speaker of today's meeting. So his pathway is the persuasive influence. His level is 1. Project number is 4. His title is Beyond Certainty. The purpose of is his speech is going beyond certainty and embracing the unknown and the uncertainty in life. The duration, timer, please. I'm reminding you of the duration of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And all the best, Toastmaster Dipanshu, for your speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanush. And I hope Toastmaster Dipanshu is ready for his speech before going to his army training. So let's call Toastmaster Dipanshu on stage. Toastmaster Dipanshu, beyond certainty, Toastmaster Dipanshu.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. By a raise of hand, show me how many of you agree that one of the most memorable trips are the one where the things don't go as per the plan. All right, wonderful. I see a few of the hands raised. So today, I'll take you to 12,000 feet above the sea level. No, we are not flying, we are on the ground. And this is where the story starts. After choosing a new path, a shortest one, I started descending from the peak of the trek called Churdhar. Churdhar is also known as the highest peak of the Shivalik range, also known as the Lesser Himalayas. And as I started descending from there, I reached a village called Noradhar. With complete power cut overnight, I saw my smartphone giving up in my arms in the morning. So I was only thing which I was left as the Google map were the local village men. I had already decided a day before not to leave to Shimla because I heard a news that there is a potential chance of a landslide because of heavy rain yesterday. So, all right. So upon reaching Noradhar, I asked the village men, how can I reach to Solan? Because that is where I came from, as Shimla was not the option. So I thought, why not go back to Solan again? So upon asking this question, the villageman told us, sir, you have reached the wrong way. The shortcut path you chose takes you to the opposite side of the mountain. So now to go back to Solan, it's not very accessible and not would be a prudent choice to go with. Anyway, having an experience of hitchhiking before, I thought that's not a big deal. I can do that. I can take lifts from the stranger. I have done that before. Not going to be a tough deal for me. All right, fortunate enough. I stood there for a couple of minutes and managed to get 2 lifts. And from there, I managed to charge my cell phone to sustain for the day, as well as managed to cover around 25 kilometers to reach to a village called Chofal. Meanwhile, in my past 2 lifts, I realized that there is something fishy. Though the village man had told me that the way I am choosing, that is to Shimla, because I had to leave to Shimla only because Solan is not accessible. So I have to leave to Shimla now. He told me that you will find traffic a lot over there. So I thought, okay, I'll get lifts. But meanwhile, in the past 2 lifts, I realized that there isn't any vehicle moving. Maybe it wasn't my day. Anyway, keeping the courage, and I kept on walking at Chofal. So to bring my acumen to the point, I thought, why not go for lunch? It's already 3 in the afternoon. And I realized it is going to be a long day for me. I will have to walk. And at that moment, for the first time in the entire life I have traveled, for the first time I realized that where am I going to stay? Because, and I looked at the distance, it was around 100 and 110 kilometers. And Chofal is such a small village. In Hindi we call it Kasba. So that's how small it was. There wasn't any hotel or any homestays. So I was kind of stuck there. So I called my friend Nitin, brother, have you got any arrangements? Do you know any relatives where I can stay for a night? He said to me, no worry. If you come to Shimla, definitely I can arrange something. I can bring you to my PG. But for now, I haven't got any options. So yeah, the call went in vain. Now, after my lunch, it was already 3 in the afternoon. I took a decision. I took a decision that I will have to walk. I will have to walk towards Shimla, knowing that the advices which were given to me from the fellow lift people who I took the lift, that I will be having a hard time finding the lift because it is all a dense forest. And trust me, they told me that, sir, don't keep on walking if you don't find a lift. Come back to Chofal and ask any stranger. But that wasn't any option for me. I don't wanted to stay in any stranger's house. So I took the risk and took the bet, and I started walking. And trust me, that was the best concoct of the weather at that moment. It was a bright sunlight and the cool wind was breezing ahead in against my face. I could feel that wind caressing the contours of my face, my hairs, and the chillness in it. And it's a thin road going towards the Shimla. Now, at that moment, I am having around 25 to 30 kgs of weight in my backpack. I'm climbing heavily, holding the straps of my bag, just hunching downwards and keep moving ahead, climbing up the road. And at the same time, a little anxiety was continuously striking me about what I had read of the black Himalayan bears. I was just hoping that I don't encounter any of it, but to encounter any person who can give me a lift. But anyway, those beauty and the scenic views just digressed me from that fear continuously. But still, at the back of my head, I had that worriness because I wasn't getting any passerby from that road. Anyway, after walking on a few kilometers, I saw a truck coming by, a red truck. I showed him a thumb. I showed my thumb out and I asked him for a lift. Fortunately, he stopped and I was happy. But my happiness lasted only for a couple of seconds when he told me, sir, we are just going to a construction site only 5 kilometers ahead. Anyway, I was thankful. They dropped me there. I again was on my feet, walking towards Shimla. Now, for a moment, after a while of walking, I met wonderful siblings named Kanupriya Didi and Vinitesh Bhaiya. As I showed my hand out again with a broad smile in my face, the Maruti Suzuki 800 stopped right in front of me. Maybe, I don't know whether it was the broad smile I showed them or the desperateness they sensed in me. They stopped for me. And I asked them, Bhaiya, are you going towards Shimla? Because I am going there. And if you are, can you give me a lift? To my surprise, they said, yes, we are going there. And I was at Cloud9 at that moment. And on the way, we discussed a lot about everything we could. They shared everything about the ritual, the history of the Himachal Pradesh. And to my surprise, yes, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand share a lot of commonality. Meanwhile, we were cruising in the valleys of Himachal Pradesh. A cool wind was just coming inside of from the window, and somehow I was managing a 6'3" stature of mine in the back seat of the Maruti Suzuki 800. But anyway, I was very fortunate to find them. We shared snacks they had brought, and they made me try the authentic cuisine of Himachal Pradesh, that is the Siddu, for the first time. And then we had momos, and ultimately at around 9 p.m. in the evening, they dropped me at the Shimla bus stand where I met my friend Nitin, whom I had talked in the afternoon. It was a long day, as I said, but I believe it is on the person who has ventured on the journey to make it a good day or a good long day or a good bad day. I think it was a better mixture of both of it. And yes, I took a refuge at the Nitin's PG, and it was a good night for me. I feel, as I said, the beyond certainty, sometimes things are not in our control, and we should not try to keep a control over the things, because let it be, let things unfold. And that is the beauty when you go with beyond the certainty, that every moment is new and that lets you embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dipanshu. I remember we have shared this story because I was also sharing my hitchhiking story, and you shared the story to me. Thank you for sharing this to the world. And now we have our last speech, and this is also an icebreaker speech. Are you all excited?
So feedback, 1 minute feedback.
Oh God, I remembered I have to ask.
We are naturally given.
I remember that this time I would do feedback and tell you, look,
No,
I
I am
have
here
remembered.
I am here to help you. Okay. let's have
Thank
one.
you so much. Please give feedback. I'm suffering from amnesia today, I guess. Has everyone shared the feedback? Online members? Could you show a thumbs up? Okay. Now I'll not forget. I'll remember. So before we call our fourth speaker, who will also be giving his icebreaker speech, I'm so proud of him because I know how scared he is, but trust me, we all get our hands, eyes chilled. Right. So before calling him, let's call his evaluator, Toastmaster Shireen. Please could you guide started.
So it is my privilege to evaluate an icebreaker speech, and my target speaker is Toastmaster Johnny. He is giving his pathway is presentation mastery, and he is giving his icebreaker speech. So obviously level 1, project 1, and she shared his objective is my own SWOT analysis, and his speech title is curtain raiser of myself. Yes, curtain raiser of myself. So in this icebreaker speech, Toastmaster Johnny will take us on a journey of self-discovery, and he will be presenting his own SWOT analysis and sharing his strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. So please welcome. But before I invite him, timer, please note down. Time will be 4 to 6 minutes, and we will give standing ovation to my target speaker.
So, good morning, everyone. I am Johnny Lal Chandani. Let me break the ice for you about me today. And what is the? Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Let me restart again. I am getting.
Take a deep breath.
You just talk about yourself, whatever it is. Whatever comes to your mind, just tell about yourself.
Stand up. So, I'm not able.
No worries.
We want to sit here and say.
I will use it.
Oh, no problem. Toastmaster Deepak, can we start with the evaluations itself then?
Yes, so can we ask Toastmaster Johnny some questions about him? That way he will be getting more courage. Can we
We can just ask
small questions? Like let's encourage him. Toastmaster Johnny, let's
we all
hear.
can start with you. Like
Yes. Give.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, let me try it again because I had tried so many things in life and I started from scratch. But handling so many people is something new to me. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I am Johnny Lal Chandani, and let me break the ice for you today about me. So, what is the goal of your life? Do you also follow the same known steps which is followed by everyone? Or you want to create something different or unique to be followed by others? For me, I am a person who will build a unique thing and leave the legacy behind to be followed by others. I'm already halfway and miles to go because I can't take a rest till I reach to the final destination. Being from a small town, I dare to dream big, and that dream brought me from Ratlam to Indore, to Mumbai, to Bangalore, to Delhi, to Morocco, to Fiji, to Spain, to Netherlands, and I have been almost 42 countries in a span of 15 years. And this list will continue to be grow till the spark in my inside survival. So, so I started my journey, a career from a computer shop where I learned hardware assembly, hardware installation, to know about the computer, to know about the technologies. And with the continuous efforts, dedication, and struggle, I got the opportunity to work as a hardware engineer in Mumbai, where I continue to grow and learn so many things. And after a few years, I got the opportunity to, after the few years with the continuous progress, finally the dream job landed in 2005 in the Bharti Airtel. And that time I didn't have a graduation degree. The selection was just based on the technical skills and the core knowledge about the IT. So when I joined this organization, I had given my everything to the organization. I stood up 24 into 7, 365 days, including festivals. I learned so many things about the telecom which are never taught in our education system till now. So my technical skills and visibility was very much clear to higher management that time. Due to this, I got two major projects during my initial tenure. That is, one was the major project was HelloTube, which we all use, and that was the revolution for Airtel as well between 2005 to 2011. So I was a core developer, and I was a core team member who has developed it. And the another project I got, that is the Kaun Banega Karodpati. In that time, I was just managing the hotlines during the show was telecast on Star TV. So the key takeaway is like circumstances can push you back, but you should not push yourself back. You must give your 100%, whatever you know, and you must be humble and grounded if you want to move ahead in the life and if you want to learn in your life. And I would say education is also very much important because, in fact, I also feel that in case I got that time opportunity to do 4 year or 3 year BTech degree, so that I should not fail today like this, because something is missing. Because being in a good position, I'm not able to carry out so many people at the same time. While I'm sitting or I'm talking to someone while I'm sitting, I'm able to carry out very easily and I can handle everything. That's why I reached here. So that is from my side. Thank you for listening. Actually, the last year also same thing happened. I was just suffering from so much anxiety, and I was just presenting 100 people in front of management, and I came down from the station. So that's why I'm here today to remove my anxiety. So that's it. As I have faced so many things. I have handled so many things, but I do not know how to take care, how to carry out, how to take away the experiences from these kinds of stages. I know what is the life, how to move ahead, because I started from the scratch, but I do not know what is missing and how to take it up and how to grow in terms of public speaking. Thank you very much.
Really, it takes a lot of courage to walk on stage, to go back and again walk on stage. And trust me, we all face the same situation. Even if there are 2 people or 3 people, we are scared. Why we are scared? Because it's not how people will judge us. It is only within us, how we are.
I especially wanted to know from him because of
Absolutely, he will. He will.
how to remove this, because I am currently handling 30 or 35 team members and I never fumble like this ever. Why it is happening when I'm presenting so many people? Because when I started from the scratch from the computer shop, and you know how they speak.
So Toastmaster Johnny, the more you, sorry, can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Toastmaster Johnny, the more you come on stage, the less you fearful you become. So would request you to come more often. Okay. Well done today. So let's have feedback. Let's have feedback, please.
Now, let's not waste any more time and call
1 minute feedback. 1 minute feedback.
Yes. Let's have 60 seconds for the feedback. What is wrong with me today? Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak, for pointing out that I do have amnesia. Yes, Toastmaster Maisha, please share the poll as well. Everyone has given their feedbacks, right? Yes. Online members, have you given your feedback? Okay. Let's start with our next section, that is evaluation. And let's call our general evaluator.
Poll for best speaker.
Okay, so I will only announce for that.
Right now, after the speech section. Yeah, poll for best speaker.
Okay. So you have got, I think so. Toastmaster Maisha, have you shared the polls for the best speaker?
Yes, she has. Yeah.
Okay, so please vote the best speaker for today.
Tough competition.
Have everyone vote? Okay, 60 seconds is over. Yes. So we can move on to our evaluation section, right? Toastmaster.
Yes.
Okay. So let's call Toastmaster Deepak.
I'm so happy we are almost on the agenda timing. So thank you and well done everyone, and especially Toastmaster Sangeeta for keeping us on time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's have the speech evaluations now. So we'll start with the first evaluator. So first evaluation is Toastmaster Shraddha, who will evaluate Toastmaster Sangeeta. So over to you, Toastmaster Shraddha.
Communication, presentation mastery without a slide. Can you do that? But did we learn from the acumen of my target speaker? The way she portrayed her voice modulation, delivery, content, everything, it tells us that she did not need a slide to showcase what she knows. I really appreciate that you started by asking a question so that people could connect what you are trying to say. She's asked what people had thought about when they saw her for the first time. She maintained good eye contact with each of the person sitting here and also people who are sitting across countries or across cities. She also added hand gestures, like she was saying point 1, point 2, point 3, which also showcases that she is like, it gives a visual representation of the numbers. However, I found that she was a bit rushing through the speech. After one speech communication style to the next, she was moving quite quickly, but which could have been paced a bit slowly so that people could have taken the message, like one was direct, so she could have paused and then she could have moved to the next pointer, that is analytical. She could have also asked the audience as to, have you, like when she mentioned about her direct speech, direct way of communication being the 5-point of top way of communication, she gave an example also, which is very good, but she could have also asked, is there anyone who speaks like this or who speaks in a direct way of communication? That way people would have been engaged and could have thought, oh, whether do I speak like this? That could have also made people question their ability. Same for analytical, supportive, and initiative. Also, she could have done a bit of stage movement while, let's say, she was talking about point 1, although she was showcasing hand gesture, which did not really require much of stage movement, but it would always enhance her speech. All in all, her speech was very well structured. She started by asking questions, and she also showcased why she got the scores. Like she got the top scores in direct speech, but why was it? She showcased it through the examples, the prompts that she had shared. And also why she scored less in the initiative part. She also ended her speech with a key takeaway, hence a very well structured speech with a introduction, body, and conclusion. Yeah, and she also gave examples for the way of communication, and she added voice modulation. When she said, and I got low score in supportive. So she reduced her tone, changed her tone, which made us realize that it was a low score. All in all, very good speech. If she works on a bit on her pace of the speech, she can take her speech to the next level. All the best to you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shraddha. Let's give a big round of applause to our evaluator, first evaluator. Now moving on to our second evaluator. So who is
Toastmaster Ritesh.
Toastmaster Ritesh. So Toastmaster Ritesh, over to you.
So the title for my target speaker was "What's in a Name?" Do you know who said so? What's in a name? Correct. So what's in a name? That's a speech title for my target speaker. Risal, congratulations for delivering your first speech. Have you ever seen a Shatabdi Express? Tune. That was the pace of my speaker, fluid, engaging, and I think delivery was so good. The smile on her face engaged the target audiences. Her content was really good that we can correlate, and for some educational purpose also, we learned a lot from her. Her command over English was really well. The kind of jargons she used, the way she communicated. So overall, it's a very good speech, being a icebreaker. But there are some recommendations also. As I said, Shatabdi Express, the speech was bit faster, right? So it is, I know it's a first speech, so people become nervous and they say, they will go out and just deliver, right, in one go. And eye contact really important in a public speaking, right? So you engage to the people while doing the eye contact. Sometimes you're looking upwards. It's like we can understand, you're memorizing something like that. So that is always there. You can use stage. This is a stage. So the stage movement was go up, going forward, backward. So this is a stage you can move around, right? So there should be shown your presence. And last is that hand gestures. You can use, I can know that, though you are having a mobile, so you are using one hand, but hand gestures plays an important role. And last is that please use pauses. That is very important in any conversation. But overall, it was really a good speech, being a first time icebreaker. I remember my icebreaker speech, but overall a very good speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritesh. Let's move on to the next evaluator, which is Toastmaster Tanishq. Toastmaster Tanishq, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepak. So, how many of you know about Toastmaster Dipanshu very closely? Yeah. Give me one word that defines Toastmaster Dipanshu. Okay.
Adventurous.
Adventurous.
Tall.
Tall. All right. So, what?
A good person.
A good person. Yes, exactly. Asking questions is one of the most brilliant move to engage people in the room. The usage of word of the day was also a great move. Purpose of speech was well defined by Toastmaster Dipanshu. Hand gestures was on point, but there's one thing that was not appropriate by myself. Like you were moving your hands like this, and you were expressing your thoughts like this, and then after like this happens quite a long time with you. And voice modulation can be improved. For example, sometimes exaggerating helps to engage people. For example, I've tried famous cuisine of Himachal Pradesh with people. I had tried one of the most famous and one of the most tasty cuisines in Himachal Pradesh. And although your moves and actions while you were climbing the mountains were on point like this with the heavy luggage. So I'll sum up my evaluation sheet to you, and congratulations to Toastmaster Dipanshu for delivering a speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanishq. Well done. I really like the hunch replay you did. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now coming to the next and final evaluator, Toastmaster Shireen. Over to you.
So one question. How many of you enjoyed the speech of Toastmaster Johnny? Everyone? He was confident enough. He was strong, right? You enjoyed it? Yes. Look, Toastmaster Johnny. This is the answer. So, my report on your curtain raiser of myself, the topic. I must say you showed great acumen by coming back and spoke about 4 minutes, more than 4 minutes, right? So that is a wonderful thing. Kudos to you. And one takeover from your speech that whatever the circumstances, we must give our 100%, and you gave it. That is kudos to you. And I must say this is your first speech, icebreaker speech. And I congratulate to you from all of us. And you spoke with confidence, sincerity, and your voice was strong, and you connected well with all of us. That is wonderful. And you shared about, my objective, my own SWOT analysis, and you shared everything, your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threat. Everything you shared. Wonderful speech. I appreciate you, I congratulate you, and kudos to you. Thank you. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shireen. Well done. Now let's move to our, so given the evaluator polls are shared together.
Toastmaster Deepak, we can share the evaluator and the aux player together.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's move to our auxiliary role players then. So our first auxiliary role player, I will invite the timer at the end. Let's come with our counter. Okay, so let's come with our counter. Our counter is Toastmaster Shireen again. Yeah, Toastmaster Shireen, over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepak. Once again, I'm here with my accountant's report. So friends, I'm starting my report. To my pleasant surprise, all speakers today spoke freely and with confidence and used negligible fillers. And that is commendable and deserve applause. And I must highlight that every speaker showed great acumen by using well-placed pause instead of filler. That is also wonderful. And that is my report. Thank you so much for listening. Over to you, Toastmaster Deepak.
Hey, thank you, Toastmaster Shireen. Now moving to our next role player. We have listener. So the listener is Toastmaster Lakshya. So Toastmaster Lakshya, over to you.
So finally, it's time to check our acumen. First of all, I'm getting nostalgia of my Viva exam, asking questions to you. So yeah, the first question is, who gave the speech on presentation mastery? Anyone can answer. Yes. Who uses stop in digital communication? Yeah. What did Toastmaster Risal's teacher call her as? Who took many uncertain decisions on his journey? That's right. Who made a SWOT analysis on himself today? That's right. Who started his journey in a computer shop? That's right. Who said, "What's in a name?" No, but who is he? Yeah, that's right. And so one last question. Who did we suspect of having amnesia? Thanks for That's been my report, and I'm feeling good that everyone paid attention to all the speeches, and that's kudos to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshya. Let's give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Lakshya. It's his second meeting as a member, and he has taken his second role as an auxiliary. Well done. Keep that up. Now coming to our next role player, which is grammarian. I'm purposely keeping the timer at the end because I would like to hear my timing as well. So I will share my screen. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen. Timer. Hopefully you're all able to see my screen. So this is the grammarian report. So we had a very good competition for the gold medal of using word of the day, which was shared by Toastmaster Shireen, Toastmaster Ritesh, and Toastmaster Shraddha. All of them used the word of the day acumen twice. Toastmaster Sangeeta, Toastmaster Risal, Toastmaster Dipanshu, and Toastmaster Lakshya used that once. And we have a lot of good words used. I could see Toastmaster Shireen using epiphany, which was the word of the day from last time, and yeah, Toastmaster Lakshya used nostalgia, and we had from our star guest speaker Toastmaster Pulkit having plethora of words here: prerogative, redeemed, protagonist, granular, squeeze. So much to learn. Toastmaster Sangeeta used frantically, vulnerability, cognitive diversity, and amnesia. So well done to all the speakers for using so many different words. And for good usage of grammar, I have I can go on speaking for next half an hour. I noted so much. So I will just restrict myself to few of the things that I really liked. So from our guest speaker, Toastmaster Pulkit, a quote was, "Be similar to be special, to be relatable." As adults, we learn better with stories. Okay. Now we had a lot of different frameworks, models shared by Toastmaster Pulkit: dissociate, dilemma, decision, action, discovery, realization, application. These were very good use of something to remember. So these are mnemonics, abbreviations that we can use: DRA, discovery, realization, application. So well done, Toastmaster Pulkit, on sharing some frameworks which everyone can benefit on. Now coming to some of the good phrases by our speakers later on. So double-edged sword, Toastmaster Risal, well done. Now Toastmaster Dipanshu, he actually took us like a good example of storytelling. Let me take you to 12,000 feet above sea level. No, we are not flying. So that's a great way to tell a story, a great use of grammar, Toastmaster Dipanshu, well done. Then Toastmaster Johnny, curtain raiser of myself, well done. And I dare to dream big. Sorry for that too. Well done. And Shatabdi Express, Toastmaster Ritesh, well done. uh, Improvement areas. I have lived here basically whole life. Instead, could be someone said this, and instead it could be I have lived here my whole life. So basically, could have been avoided. There were a lot of Hindi words used, which usually is not recommended. If you are is using, do use the translation. So example was Kash Sunleta, use of someone said that, which means wish I had heard. There were other lots of, always translate Hindi to English for including everyone in audience, because the assumption cannot be made that everyone understands Hindi. Okay, so that's a recommendation and learning for everyone. I met wonderful siblings could be I met wonderful siblings. Was not required. This list will continue to be grow. The B could have been avoided. This list will continue to grow. Okay, and now I will hand over the stage back to the general evaluator, which is myself, and I will hand over to the timer of the day. The next role player, I believe I stayed within the time. If not, I am here to listen to feedback. So over to you, Toastmaster Namra. This is her first role as an auxiliary role player. So let's give a big round of applause to encourage her. Toastmaster Namra, can we have you on stage for your report?
Thank you so much, Agi. So the time of the day, I'm going to tell the timing of all the speakers first. Speaker 1, Toastmaster Sangeeta, 8 minutes 40 seconds. Toastmaster Desar, 5 minutes 47 seconds. Great. Toastmaster Dipanshu, 8 minutes 41 seconds. Toastmaster Johnny, 5 minutes. Qualified. General evaluator, Toastmaster Deepak and team has taken 7 minutes 6 seconds. Toastmaster Shiri, 32 seconds. Amazing, sir. Toastmaster Deepak, 3 minutes 34 seconds. Toastmaster Laksh, 1 minute 29 seconds. Toastmaster Pulkit has taken 32 minutes 20 seconds. Now here for the speech evaluation. Toastmaster Shraddha has taken 3 minutes 32 seconds. Toastmaster Ritesh has taken 2 minutes 15 seconds. Toastmaster Tanish has taken 1 minute 42 seconds. Toastmaster Shri again has taken 1 minute 32 seconds. Voting for the best calling meeting to order has taken 2 minutes 56 seconds. Welcoming has taken Toastmaster Sangeeta has taken 9 minutes 4 seconds. Toastmaster again Sangeeta has taken 12 minutes 3 seconds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Namra, for the good, like well done. It didn't look like you were playing it for first time. So yeah, well done. Now, my report. We are already 10 minutes over, I believe, in terms of. So before I give my report, let's have the polls for the best evaluator and best auxiliary role player in the group, please. Yep, I would request everyone to vote. Voting is good to encourage the speakers who have performed well. So let's have a vote. Timer, can we have a red card at 1 minute? Are we done with 1 minute?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we done with the voting? Yeah, we can.
We can continue. All right. So my report. So we have we are at 116, and my report was ideally to be started earlier. So what I will do is I will try to be as precise as I can be, because we have our special evaluation section as well. So it's 117. 121 is when the special evaluation session is to be started. So I have 4 minutes. Okay. Right? 4 minutes. So I will do it right now. I will share my screen again. Okay. I'm using the power of technology to help us. Hopefully you're able to see my screen with G report. Can I get a thumbs up from someone? How do I see a thumbs?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Okay, cool. All right. Overall meeting. We started at 11:15 a.m. That was as per the agenda. Well done, Toastmaster Shireen, for keeping us on time. Ground rules were stated. Introduce the presiding officer well. So thank you, Toastmaster Shireen, our Sergeant at Arms. Now, presiding officer Toastmaster Sangeeta inspired everyone by stating, by asking to close our eyes, giving, actually taking us to the world finalist stage of world speech. So that was like very inspiring. Thank you, Toastmaster. It's like dream come true for everyone. So well done, Toastmaster Sangeeta, for uh, actually making our dream come true, even if it is within our closed eyes. And introduce the new members and guests. So well done again. Was within the time. Thank you for that. Toastmaster Sangeeta did introduce the guest speaker. Well done again. Now I have some improvement areas for Toastmaster Sangeeta, given she was the presiding officer as well as the host. So the guest speaker could have been messaged in advance about that session split, because it was communicated on the spot. Maybe an improvement area for future. We can communicate the agenda in advance or via message ahead of the meeting. If not, when they come, we can tell it in person. So that way we save time and also set the right expectation. Now coming to the speech title, like for certain speakers, it was called out. Like Toastmaster Dipanshu was actually called out by the speech title as well as their name. But it could have been done for other speakers as well, like Toastmaster Johnny and Toastmaster Risal. The host could have introduced instead of the evaluator for Toastmaster Johnny, and for Toastmaster Risal again, it could have been called out. That way I think it's good, like, because as Toastmaster Pulkit mentioned that there is a message, speech title is closely related to message. It's very important if we call that message out or the speech title out. Okay, now coming to the evaluators, Toastmaster Shraddha use the CRC approach. Now I have the same feedback for all the speakers. Restrict your feedback to the objective of the speech. That's why we have what we have objective. If you give 5 things to improve, they will ignore everything. The listener, if we focus on only couple of things and also around the objective, firstly state whether the objective was met or not. That's why we are reading the objective of the speech, right? There is a purpose to it. So why not just focus our idea? I know nobody's perfect, and you might have lots of observation, but to be helpful to the speaker, just state couple of things which will immediately benefit in their next speech, so that it is memorable. Now for Toastmaster Shraddha, she mentioned about pace was fast, it could have paused. Where is the example? She could have mentioned about which point in the speech could the pause be used and how it would have been used. Although she did it later on when she mentioned of, is there anyone with the same communication style, asking a question. So giving an example for every recommendation you give highlights how the speaker can improve. Rather than giving a laundry list of all the improvements, it's actually as a good acumen for all the evaluator to have, to give this, restrict your findings to couple of suggestions. Okay. Now Toastmaster Ritesh, when he said Shatabdi Express, I didn't think it was a compliment, because it was like highlighting the speaker was, although the speaker was very fast, that might be the view of the evaluator. Always start on a positive note, because it can be treated as a satire. Okay. So ideally highlight the positive points first, and then another point I could see an improvement for Toastmaster Ritesh and everyone was, instead of you could improve this, you could do this. Because if you use one-on-one conversation with the speaker as an evaluator, you are segregating the rest of us. Why not use the speaker? Name the speaker, like Toastmaster Risal, or Risal could have done that. That way, we all would feel inclusive. Okay, that is another good thing to have, and it actually emphasizes the acumen of a good evaluator. Okay, if you use this third person pronouns. Now coming to Toastmasters Tanish, I really enjoyed the way he hunched. Again, similar speech, similar point on you versus he. Instead of you, he could have used he, third person pronoun, to include everyone. Finally, Toastmaster Shireen, I really liked the way she encouraged the speaker. So well done, Toastmaster Shireen. That's the way one should encourage, even if the speaker was not able to be on the stage for a certain time, but she kept the positivity and encouraged the speaker. So well done, Toastmaster Shireen. For auxiliary role players, I think all of them did a fantastic job. Everyone used CRC approach, and given they are all beginning their journey, most of them, Toastmaster Lakshya, Toastmaster Namra, I would say you are on the right track. All of you are on the right track. All of the auxiliary role players, keep taking the roles, and yeah, you like all of you will become great speakers over the time. So I will now stop my screen share. I believe I have overrun. Sorry for that. And now I will go on to the next part of the speech, the meeting, which is the speech special evaluation session. I will hand over the stage to Toastmaster Pulkit. You have 15 minutes, Toastmaster Pulkit. Let's give a big round of applause, Toastmaster Pulkit. A unique session, lots of learning.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. So, how do you like the session to the 15 minutes to be structured? Should I first cover a few ground rules on how to evaluate effectively from my side and then go to evaluation for speakers? That's all right. So, I agree with our General Evaluator when he says that evaluations must cite examples. In fact, see, what's an evaluation? It's a combination of commendations and recommendations. But when we commend someone without an example, let's say if Shraddha has great speech content, and I never say why I felt that, it will be too generic. So in fact, I have a model I use for commendation. It's the what, where, and why. For recommendation, I use what, where, why, and how. So what, where, and why for commendation is what was good. Let's say the speaker's vocal intonation was excellent. What? Where did the speaker demonstrate this being good? Whereas I would say that when Risal said that what's in a name, she lowered her voice. As an example, this is called mapping the commendation, the what, to a specific example in the speech. This shows your awareness while listening to a speaker. It's often we zone out. Even as today I was zoning out at times because focus is tough. In fact, in the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, he goes on, he's a Nobel Prize winning author. He claims that intelligence is nothing but focus. And this is why when people meditate, they feel more intelligent because their focus goes higher. The more you can focus, the more you can be aware in the present, the more you're intelligent and more your intelligence, the more the speaker benefits. And when you cite the specific where the speaker benefits, because they can map your commendation to where they were right and why. Humans learn when you tell them why it matters. If I tell you that vocal intonation was good and she lowered her voice, I'm not telling you why should you even care about having good vocal intonation. So, example of a good commendation could be Rizal had great vocal intonation. When she talked about what's in her name, her voice lowered down. When you use vocal intonations, your speech becomes more attractive to the listeners as monotony is broken. A simple what, where, and why. Now, since we have only 3 minutes, the art is packaging all of this in compact points. Because if you go on explaining why, if you go on explaining on where, or if you go on elongating what, you will timed out. And this is the primary challenge in contests. It's about saying more with less words. In fact, Anand Mahindra has a model called the HBS model. He's from Harvard Business School. Humility, brevity, and service. B is for brevity. And it's a $1 million art. If you can say more with less words, you are instantly above average when it comes to communication. So the evaluation forces you to have brevity. Now, in recommendation is what, where, why, and how. If I tell you in recommendation, for example, I could say, as an example, Sangeeta, as a sample speaker. Let's say, Sangeeta was forgetting the 1 minute evaluation time consistently. What? Okay, what would be? So I feel Sangeeta could improve on remembering things, as an example. For example, she was forgetting the 1 minute evaluation time consistently. And this is just the humor I'm bringing in. This is just an example. Now, what and where? Why? Why should Sangeeta care about improving on remembering things? When you remember things, the audience understand that you are serious on stage. An example why. How? I suggest Sangeeta to remember, just have mental notes or physical notes which proclaims 1 minute evaluation in your sheet so that can build a visual recall, a sample how. The thing is, you have to tell what wasn't well, where in the speech the incorrectness was detected, why should the speaker care about improving it, and finally, how can the speaker improve? Many great evaluations fall flat because there's no how. If I tell Shraddha, I feel you can improve on your stage presence. For example, when you were talking about your childhood, you were in the left side of the stage where it should be audience right. And good staging helps you be a better speaker. But if I don't tell her how can she ensure in the next speech she can improve, she can basically map the stage left, stage right to her content? That's a failure on my part. In fact, it's a very interesting. Have you ever seen great speakers go from? Okay, have you noticed that when we talk about past to future, ideally, what do you expect the stage movement to be? Left to right. In fact, it's from your right to left to right, right? That is from speaker's right to speaker's left. If I talk about the past on your right and go to the future to in your left, there will be a mental disconnect. That's psychology 101. If you go from audience left to audience right, or the speaker right to speaker left when it comes to past to future, the congruity is maintained. It's psychology. No one knows why it happens, but it happens. So yes, we call it the stage left and stage right. So audience left is stage left, audience right is stage right, and part. So you have to tell this the how part. How can you be a better stage crafter. So that's it. Commendation is what, where, why. Recommendation is what, where, why, and how. Now in competitions, we also have other models like we start with a good introduction, which is taken from the speech content. We have a smooth transition. So instead of saying, these are recommendations 1, 2, 3. These are my recommendations 1, 2. Thank you. We have a smooth transition from commendation to recommendation, mainly for contest. And then we have a conclusion. Conclusion means recounting your evaluation points and recommendation points, and then leaving the speaker on a high. It's an example when I won the Evaluate to Elevate contest 41. The speaker had this speech about a sweater which changed his life. So I started with the speaker not only gave us a masterclass on how unwanted gifts can change someone's life, he also gave a masterclass of storytelling. So I took the speaker's content and brought it into introduction. This is in speeches probably we call it callbacks. Have you ever noticed that, let's say if someone, this happened in District 41, I think, ATM, All Toastmasters meeting. They were talking about 5 stars to offend Shraddha were there. And one of the speakers used 5-star anecdote in his speech and people chuckled. Because recall or callbacks is ingenious. So if I, let's say, Ritesh about Shatabdi Express example. If I bring Shatabdi Express again, it will make your mind light again. It will create a light bulb on moment in your mind. This is called callback value. When you start with an introduction in your evaluation, which relates to the speaker's content, the callback loop is activated. The mind goes flash. Again, psychology 101. It makes the audience believe that what an innovation. So ultimately, if you want to have conventional success in public speaking, be unconventional. Everyone starts with good morning, good afternoon. If you start with something unique, which relates to the speaker's content, you will be unconventional and you will have conventional success that you are seeking in public speaking. Now, transition is when you transition from recommendation smoothly. For example, this speech about cricket. I can always say that these are my commendations 1, 2, 3, recommendations 1, 2. I can also say, we have talked about the sixes, but let's now talk about where I feel the speaker got out. That's a smoother transition if the speech is about cricket. If the speech is about failures and success, I can say, we talked about the speaker's successes and triumphs, but I will be failing if I don't let you know your failures. Or if the speech is about, let's say, any topic you can say, let's say, we had what's the name, right? I can say that now we understood what was good in the speech, but okay, now names could be good and perhaps not so good. Okay, I'm not able to connect that, but the thing is, you have to take the speaker's content and build a smooth transition. The more you can do it, the audience will be wowed. Again, the callback loop gets activated. Innovation. And conclusion is when you recount your exact commendation and recommendation again and leave the speaker on. I always try to bring in something like, and if you do this 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, in my conclusion, he will be the next world champion of public speaking. I leave the speaker on a high. So that's the entire evaluation or contest style evaluation strategy we use. You have to comment effectively, recommend effectively, have a good introduction, smooth transition, leave the speaker on a high, and perhaps you will win. If you are able to do this, all of this in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, there's hardly any chance of you to lose, unless you have extremely strong competitors. Now let's go to the evaluations, and I will try to. Now, since this is a supplementary evaluation, I won't be using contest style evaluation, and I won't be starting with a proper introduction, transition. I will be giving my supplementary eval points. Now, Sangeeta, our speaker. Now, in public speaking, we often say that you need to start with a hook. And one of the best hooks is the question. In my winning evaluation speech, I use the tap, tease, and transport model. The tap over here is a question. Tease is when you make the audience be excited to hear your speech, and then you transport them to your story. That's a very famous, or we also call the engage, entice, and embark. Engage with the question, entice them to listen to your speech, and then embark on your story. So I think Sangeeta did that. When she said, what was the first impression? That's a tap, that's an engagement. And then she got us enticed. She said how first impressions can be misleading. That's enticing because we often have been victims of first impression. We do that as well. And then she embarked into her story. She had a good speech frame. The first 75 words or 30 seconds, assuming people speak 150 words a minute, the first 75 words, 30 seconds. It's called a speech frame. Ideal speech frame should make it clear to the audience what the speech will be about. It's often said in public speaking that you want your audience to be excited, not confused. They shouldn't be asking speech. They should be asking, "Hone kya wala hai speech mein?" They should not be asking, "Ki speech hai kis cheez ki?" And this happens in the first 30, 40 seconds. You need to make it clear to the audience what the speech will be about without giving too much. This is why we discourage titles like procrastination. Everything is revealed. We encourage titles like The Pink Cloud. And it could be of procrastination, intelligent connection. But it needs to make the audience be excited, entice them. This is, again, a balance there. They should not be confused, but they should also not know everything that's going to come. She had keynote style tools. She had audience conversation. She had chits, that's keynote style tools. Even though Sangeeta, I feel that in a short speech, 7-minute speech, keynote style tools could be dangerous at times because you could overrun time. When it comes to a few recommendations, the firstly, the unpleasant presentation. Like I said, if you want to have unconventional success or be conventional success, be unconventional. An unpleasant pleasantry, then you start with good morning, good afternoon, hi there, the weather is nice. Everyone expects these pleasantries, and this is why we often call it unpleasant pleasantries. It's not pleasant to hear because we often say that. Ditch that. Ditch the unpleasant pleasantries. Your hook could be better, Sangeeta. Again, you want the audience to know why should they listen to your speech. And I feel like in the tabletop model was again violated. You had, in my opinion, evaluations are opinions. In my opinion, Sangeeta had 3 broad messages. The first was how first impression could be misleading, how to give a presentation without a single slide, and she also had the third about communication styles. 3 different messages into one speech. The audience will be left confused. Should I improve on my first impressions? Should I be aware of my communication style? Or should I present without a single slide? That's the tabletop model violation. The message should be clear. And again, when the anecdote message mapping. So even though she was able to give the messages towards the end, how does each message, 3 messages, map to her anecdotes wasn't very clear. It's very important to, when we use callbacks, we use clear that this message callbacks to this anecdote. So that it's called the Cherkov's gun principle. There's this short story by Cherkov. He says, if you show a gun in your speech towards the start, ensure it goes off towards the end. That is, nothing in your speech should be a fluff. For example, if you see a painting and if you see a line here and there, you will have mental incongruity, right? If you don't expect these things in paintings, we expect everything to be perfect in painting, or just need. Why do we fluff into our speech? And this is why when you map your message to an anecdote, it gives an impression. To say 5 minutes more, gives the impression to the speaker that whatever they heard had value. Rishal Icebreaker, now she had this conflict immediately when she said that my name is often misunderstood. That's conflict. That's good because conflict hooks. She again had this engage, entice, embark model. She told her name is misunderstood. She told about a story in her school that was the best example of Rizal naming understood. And then she embarked into the story. That's again an example of engage, entice, embark. She had a opinion, anecdote model. She told, what's her name? Opinion, anecdote, etymology, which is the information, anecdote. So information, anecdote model, which is good. You tell that you like this, why you like this. You tell you feel that this happens in your life, why this you feel this happens in life, that's good. Again, the forward pendulum is a very as I will say, young speakers on the stage, we do that mistake. We have this forward pendulum or sideward pendulum thing, and that's nervousness. Even though it may not be very clear, if you move too much, that's a sign of nervousness. If you're too dynamic, you're not dynamic. If you're too loud, you're not loud. If you're too fast, you're not fast. Balance is the key. If you're too much dynamic when moving, the audience thinks you're not dynamic. So that's the thing. Balance the movements. I also felt that she had a fixed gaze towards the stage right of the speaker. It's called the scan and stop model. So when you want to build an engagement, scan to the audience but stop at times. So if I say, life is beautiful, isn't it? And it can change your life. It's called scan and stop. Keep on scanning, but stop at times. Again, psychology 101 just creates the impression that the audience directly. The scan and stop. I will just go to our final two speakers in the next 2-3 minutes. All right, the next speaker we had was Dipanshu. There's this public speaking an abbreviation used when it comes to great staging. It's called STAGE. Stance, transition, anchoring, gestures, and expressions. Two of this, Dipanshu used beautifully, stance and gestures. Now, stance is your stage awareness. When you're talking to a child, if you look down, that's stance. Let's say if I'm talking to a 6-year-old, I'm looking up, it will create incongruity in your mind, right? Or if I'm talking to my kid and I say, hi there, the audience will be confused because they expect the kid to be down. So that's called stance. So when he said that backpack thing, that's stancing. And that matters because you are a movie as a speaker. And when you're able to get into the mold of what happened in the moment and you change your stance accordingly, that's brilliant stage awareness. Gestures he had like back of my head, thumb, so gestures were, it's called the content gesture congruence. Your content and gesture should match. When we are nervous, when we're trying to get through our speech, that is a mismatch. But when we are confident in the moment, like focus is intelligence, being present is intelligence, you're able to see how much mindset plays in public speaking. So yes, dancing comes. There's also a principle in public speaking, be specific. So when he said Maruti Suzuki 800, instead of saying a car key, when he said Himalayan black bear, instead of saying an animal bear, a black bear or bear, when he said Shimla bus stand, instead of saying bus stand, that creates specificity. When I say a beautiful blue little dress, you can imagine that. When I say a beautiful dress, you will have different versions. The more you can keep the audience hooked to your content, if they see what you are trying to make them see, if they hear what you are trying to make them hear, if they understand what you're trying to make them understand, and that's a good speech. That's a good speaker. So this is when we use specific things like hotel room number 405 or this blue vast green meadow in the center of Delhi. You are able to transport people into the action. Specificity is a hidden treasure to great public speaking. Dipanshu did that. Conflict escalation, I think his conflict stayed same. And he was walking through the mountains. There was never a point where the audience was asking, now we need someone to rescue him. He was happy. He was happy, go lucky. And ultimately someone came along, picked him up. That's the problem. Ethical aberrations are out there. There might not have been a very serious, life-threatening thing to him, but ethical aberrations means my legs were tired. I was about to collapse. Something of an ethical aberration, which gives the audience a moment to ask, now what? क्या इसका rescue हुआ? कोई बचाया इसको? नहीं बचाया तो क्या हुआ? And this is called conflict escalation. Engagement, and escalation helps. Sharon, I will just end the last 2 minutes for you. You asked for my advice, and this is advice from what I learned in public speaking. I hope everyone benefits as well. When I started out public speaking, my goal was to impress. I was a person who had no friends in college. And so when I got on the stage, I was extremely excited. At log sunenge, I will be the star. And when you're trying to impress, it's a mentally crushing thing, because if your speech is not good, today I often fumble when I speak, because I have to correct my speech rate often when I speak. If I'm here to impress, the moment I fumble, I will disconnect. I will perhaps go and I perhaps make a decision कि अब मैं नहीं जाऊंगा. But when you're trying to communicate that and not impress, it's less demanding for you. So speak to communicate, speak to make yourself clear to the audience and not impress. The reason I did not have friends in college was I was always trying to impress people. Johnny mentioned this, that he had great, he finds it easy to talk to people. Because perhaps, Johnny, when you're talking to people one-on-one, you're not trying to impress, you're just trying to connect. And that's the same paradigm in public speaking. When on the stage, if you try to connect and communicate and not impress, it gets easier. And perhaps this is my suggestion to you. Just be yourself. And when I say being yourself, does not mean accept. I learned this, I was just 1 minute more. I learned this while in a hospital. I went to a hospital recently and I had some back pain. And at the hospital, I realized that it's not about loving yourself when you're at the best. It's about loving yourself despite. It's about being happy being yourself despite your flaws, despite the shortcomings, despite not being able to speak well. And when you're able to do that, you're able to be yourself. And when you're able to be yourself, you're able to be better. It's I will say, a conflict in ideas. Being yourself does not actually helps you be better, is what I realized. So just connect and communicate, then try to impress. And I hope that will help you in your next speech. I wish everyone all the best. Thank you.
Over to the presiding officer now, Toastmaster Sangeeta.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pulkit. It was so great. And what we learned is communication is not about changing ourselves, but it is about expanding who we can be with an ethereal enigma to connect with people. And thank you so much. And without any wasting more time, I would want to have a token. Oh, yes. So please come, we have a small token for you.
So that's trophy number 61, right? So Toastmaster Pulkit, was that trophy number 61?
Sure.
And let's find who is our best speaker. Any guesses? Any guesses? It's Toastmaster Johnny. Oh. Okay, who do you think is the best role player? Okay, it's
Active listener.
active listener.
Sorry, best possible role.
Role player, yeah. Toastmaster Namra. And we have two best evaluators, by the way. Who do you think it is? Okay, one is not here. That is Toastmaster Tanish. We will give him certificate later. Yeah. And any guesses? It's Toastmaster Ritesh. Yeah. With that, I would want to adjourn the meeting. I hope you all have enjoyed our session today and do give feedbacks to us so that we can conduct more educational sessions for you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.